DXY racing towards Dumpy Town as it comes into contact with one of its biggest support ranges left. Bitcoin and the Moon Boys right now are repeating a move exactly like the one we saw on January 31st of 2019. So lock your doors and grab a tissue, because once you see this, it's game over. Right now, the crypto market looks primed to bust, explode like we've not seen in a very, very long time. But that is not even the most interesting thing going on right now. And once you see what it is, it'll change everything. So you guys should make sure to subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications so you never miss these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And let's just dump on into this webisode, as there are actually a number of things that I think are just so critical right now. Over $1 billion in liquidations as Bitcoin hits prices we haven't seen in 6 weeks here. We've seen 704 million in shorts were liquidated yesterday, and increasing that number today as well. We've seen continued liquidations today, totaling over $1 billion, which is pretty big. There was a small amount of long positions liquidated. However, it was mostly shorts. And so there are a lot of things I want to talk about. Specifically, there's a really interesting thing on the Bitcoin chart, but as well, let's take a look at this. So the DXY, this is what is propelling this market. If you would ask me, why is Bitcoin going up? Why have I been saying for the last few days it looks as though we're about to see a big move to the upside? It's pretty much just this chart. And it's mainly because, as we've been talking about, we have broken some of this parabolic structure. And there's even some evidence showing that it's much bigger than that. So obviously, first now we're testing the most recent high that we set back at the very beginning of September. So about 2 months ago, September 7th. Right now, that's where we're testing right now for support. And then the next level of support is actually our high from July of 2014. So over 3 months ago, if we fail to hold here at about 109, that brings us down to about 108.4. And also, if 108.4 does not hold, okay, it has not happened yet, but if we come down here over the next couple of days or a week or so, and we do not hold, then not only are we breaking this previous high, we are breaking out of this structure completely, of this gigantic, multi-month, well over half a year, ascending, broadening wedgie. The biggest move of all time. So obviously the DXY is in a critical spot right now. It's currently down almost 5% in just the last month. And that's pretty big for the DXY. Those numbers are not big for crypto, but for the DXY, a currency, that is very big. And so these are like the last two ranges, right? This one is kind of important. Right now, we're kind of actually barely hanging on to it. But again, the only one I really care about is this one, because it's our high from about 3.5 months ago, but really it's breaking out of this gigantic structure right here. So not only that, with the DXY, and as well, I want to note this as well. So CTO Larson, this is something he's been watching with the parabolic structure of the DXY as well. You see it's kind of peaking, it's squeaking its head a little bit out of this, indicating that it looks as though this parabolic structure we've seen with the DXY is potentially breaking down. And it's the very first time we've seen that all year. So that's what's big about this. This is a structure that's been going on actually for more than a year. And you can see even here it seems to be breaking out. And as well, ethernational.eth tweeted this as well about the DXY crashing in 1985, 2002, producing the same signal here on this indicator that he has pulled up here. And pretty large retracements happened afterwards. And it is no secret that it's absolutely no secret that the DXY has been extremely powerful. So the bias it should be most likely that it's pumped a little bit too much. And as well, take advantage of over $16,000 in trading bonuses below when you deposit with BitGet, Femex, or Bybit. And additionally, if you sign up with BitGet right now, it takes 30 seconds. Put in an email, create a password, you'll receive 15 free USDT simply for signing up. And somebody also asked, what is the indicator called? It's called the random red arrow with no context, trust me, bro. That's exactly what I base my trades on. But if we take a look at Bitcoin on the 10-day chart, this is what we've been watching. We got this MACD cross. We've been covering this for a couple of days now. But guys, interestingly enough, on the RSI, we're seeing the exact same pattern, even lower on the RSI, indicating potentially more strength with this move to the upside if it follows through, than we saw back in January of 2019. What happened back in January of 2019, you may ask? Well, let's take a squeak peek here. In January of 2019, we saw Bitcoin trade at about $3,500, $3,700. It was the ultimate bottom of the bear market, keep in mind, and it was the lowest Bitcoin has been since that time. And what happened here was we broke out. We saw the MACD shift just like we're seeing now. We broke out on the RSI, very low on the RSI as well, on the 10-day RSI, also the weekly, like we're seeing now. We kind of inched and squinged up for a few weeks, and then we went from 3,000 to 14,000 US dollars. So it was a massive run, but keep in mind, we were technically still in kind of a bear market, right? Even though we never ended up going back down to these lows, even with the massive crash in March of 2020 because of the lockdowns, even they couldn't bring us to new lower lows, did absolutely have a major effect on the market, but ultimately it still held right around 6K right here. And ultimately, these were kind of like the best times to buy, obviously besides 3,000. But I mean, if you averaged in right around here, I mean, that's still a really good play in my opinion. Anyway, point is, even if we overlap this, right? If we overlap this move, let's just overlay it to see if time-wise and everything, it looks identical. And if we take this last big drop here, overlay it with here, it looks as though, you know, we've had about 2 or 3 weeks of squinching to the upside. It looks as though that big fat green candle could be just pretty much days away if anything similar to the last bear market bottom happened. Now, these are the most critical moments because now what we're waiting for is the ultimate confirmation that yes, this actually is going to be a very big rally, even if it's only temporary, and even if it's only a relief rally and not the exit of the bear market, okay? Even if that's only the case, so much profit can be made, okay? Imagine trading 3,000 to 14,000 Bitcoin and then trading all the alts and all the percent gains they got back in that same amount of time. Insane amount of profit was made and can be made. But again, the reason this is the biggest time is because right now we're about to see this confirmation soon, if it's going to be a confirmation. We have seen record levels of sideways, record levels of dumpiness. The structure obviously is not the exact same as the last bear market, but why would it be? And I'm also of the opinion that our top actually was more so back in April of 2021. And this last pump that gave us a few extra $1,000 to the all-time high at 69K, nice, was very artificial, very forced, and pretty much a dead cat bounce, right? I would, looking back in retrospect, this looks more just like a really successful dead cat bounce. As soon as this ended, just complete downwards, as I'm sure you all know if you've been in the market since then. So that's something very big to take note of. The similarities are insane, and nothing ever repeats exactly, but the similarities between this market and the last bear market are truly remarkable. And not to mention, guys, if the DXY actually does not do well here, then we're about to see something pretty nuts because one thing I think is very important too is that back in 2019, what was the DXY doing? It was actually going up this entire time as well. It started crashing pretty much as soon as Bitcoin started its bull market, but it did not have this massive rally beforehand. The last time it did have a massive rally was back in 2014, back in June of 2014. So, and that lasted pretty much, the massive rally was from June 2014 until about April of 2015. And what was Bitcoin doing in that time? Well, from June 2014, right about here-ish, to 2015, till 2015, that was when Bitcoin was bottoming. Okay, so even back then there was some sort of a correlation, right? As the DXY really went on that nice rally, Bitcoin was in a not very pumpy situation. It was in a pretty dumpy mood. Literally, just the DXY is absolutely like the main thing that needs to be watched here because it is in danger of completely breaking down here. There is going to be a Fed meeting in less than a week here, so that'll be interesting as well. But if the DXY just continues losing momentum, that is literally the one big factor that will dominate and dictate what will happen to the stock market and with Bitcoin as well. So get in the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those ghost notifications so this is absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Take advantage of over $16,000 in trading bonuses below with BitGet, Phoenix, and BITGET. And as well, if you sign up with BitGet right now, put in an email, create a password, takes 30 seconds. You'll receive 15 free USDT on top of that as well. Without any further ado, that's it for me.